Welcome back. We're here for episode 11 of 4th and 3 Dudes. This is Chris Nama coming to you from lovely Peachtree Corners, Georgia on a not so lovely, dreary day. But go ahead and introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
Bernie, down here in St. Mary's, Georgia.
Cord, I'm kind of in between places right now.
Why, just trying to figure out where you're going to be traveling to next? Or has Meg kicked you out?
She took my key away, so I can't get back in.
We hope she takes you back.
But I'm going to Florida next week. I'm going to Florida next week, Bernie.
Where?
Oh, St. Mary's. I'm going to have like a cardboard box and a frying pan.
We're not in Florida. Let's make that clear. But yeah, we're close.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to the place where the Georgia's last opponent came from, right?
Gainesville.
Yeah.
Oh, hazmat suit.
Yeah. Be careful down there. Well, before we get into that game, let's go ahead and talk about what you're drinking. I'm going ahead and starting off with a Monday night drafty kilt, one of their Scotch ales, and it is in a Monday
look
night
at that fancy boy glass.
By Monday night. I mean, hey, you got to go ahead. I mean, you never know if they're going to become a sponsor. So
that's a goblet.
Yeah. Keep it on point. Well, I have so Don Q, Grand Reserva Puerto Rican dark rum. Matt Doherty spent the weekend with us here for the Georgia-Florida game and brought a bottle to me. So first sip, let's see how it goes. I don't drink rum very often, but when I do, I like it dark.
There you go.
So
I'm glad it wasn't a spit take.
That's great. That's not Captain Morgan's. Ooh, that's good.
Did you finish?
I like me some Captain Morgan's.
Did you finish that bottle of backwash whiskey that you had last week?
No, still got probably 2 more pours.
That's good.
It's an infinity bottle. All right, what are you drinking, Cord?
Jameson. Drinking some Jameson?
I got a finger of Jameson.
There you go.
Can you see my seal? It's etched.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, goodness. Well, let's go ahead and start talking about that Florida game. Of course, I got my Southern Soul shirt on from all the times we used to stay down in St. Simons for that.
St. Simons.
But yeah, Bernie, you traveled down to the game. I mean, go ahead and why don't you set the scene? What was it like down there even before kickoff?
Well, it was a typical outdoor cocktail party. I mean, there had the stadium seats, 75 maybe. There was probably 100,000 fans there. So parking is always an issue with us. And we found a great parking spot, but for some reason he roll up and want 3 spots, but only one of you's there. Oh. And try to hand them cash for all 3 spots and tip, they won't take it. So there was a lot of drama because one of our, Tanner had to go to the Publix before he rolled in, and so he would got the last spot. If he was 2 minutes later, he wouldn't have gotten in there.
Oh my goodness!
So, but by the time he got there, and we had to set up the fryer because we always do fish tacos, and they bring some fresh shrimp from Amelia. So we had some fresh red fish and snapper. So good tailgate, and then I would say once we got in the stadium, once the crowd got in there, I would say more than 60% Georgia. The whole Georgia side was full with a smattering of Florida fans, including 2 in front of me. But the Florida side, y'all might have seen from the TV, it had pockets in it. So there were definitely some empty seats.
I told you.
Throughout the game. Not as many as I hoped in the fourth quarter, but we'll get to that in terms of the game. But overall, it was another great addition to the Georgia-Florida game, and the right people came out on top.
Yes, they did. So, I mean, there's a lot to talk about in terms of the game. I mean, again, getting a win down there is always a good thing. There's too many years remembering when we thought we were going to get wins and it didn't happen. So even when things don't go as picture perfect as you hoped, but you get the W, I mean, it's still got to be considered a good day.
Yeah. I think the W is. What's that?
What time did you get down there to park?
We were parking by 8:30. And it was that lot is by the baseball stadium. You know where that is, so it was pretty close. So I thought I'd be able to visit Robert's tailgate over in Lade. But it's just a lot of drama. But next year we have a plan. We're going to the same spot, but we're all going to be there at 8:30. Because it was pretty stressful, and I don't understand why cash doesn't work in this nation. It did well. I should say it did work because the people that worked with us, they got paid handsomely, for working with us. So you always got to help people down there because I want the game to stay there. So anyway, but yeah, it was a good tailgate and good to see some old tailgate friends hadn't seen in a while, and like I said, Dawgs came out on top.
Yep, they did. So I mean, again, going into starting off in the game, but the big thing that everybody's talking about is Carson Beck. So I don't know. Looking back at it, I mean, again, it's one of those things that with him, it's just, I mean, it's still a couple of cases of bad luck, a couple of cases of bad reads. But I mean, again, I like reading your blog earlier this week too. I mean, I think we pretty much are in a ride or die situation. I mean, if Kirby had somebody else he could really did believe was going to give us a better shot, I mean, he's proven that in the past with Stetson Bennett and everything. He put him in when everybody thought he was crazy. I mean, you can't say they can't actually judge the talent they have on the roster. So, I mean,
yeah, you're right. He rode with Carson. I mean, he rode with Stetson when everybody wanted Carson in, and Saturday, especially in the stands, it was evident. People wanted Carson out of there, and we did see one of the people from our tailgate saw Rashada warming up, but at the same time that Carson was warming up after that third interception. So I don't know if that means Rashada would have been next, but obviously this is who he trusts. And for all the things we can say about Carson's slow start and everything, he performed great in the second half. He was 11 for 11 in the fourth quarter. Led us down to a touchdown when we needed it. And I will say, mostly due to the defense, there was not a point in the game where I was worried. I think when they scored that touchdown in the fourth quarter, I was a little worried we might go to overtime. I could definitely see that. But the defense,
you weren't worried in the first half?
Played greatest. No, because they weren't moving. They didn't get 200 yards offense until that last touchdown drive.
I had to talk him off the ledge.
Once Stan Jackson came back, well, I think he was with a lot of people in the stadium. I can tell you that. There were a lot of people frustrated, but I thought the defense played great, and especially once Dirty Dan and Aguero got back, they were kind of locked in. I thought we don't see Malachi giving up a touchdown like that often. I think he's just trying to cover, 90% of the field instead of 50 to 60. And once they came back, they were more balanced. Like Florida used some motion, especially that late first half drive to get us off kilter and sprung those runs to get back in field goal position, which was pretty key for them to go in with a field goal there at the end. So, and special teams, I made this note. Our special teams did great, but theirs was outshining us until that snap kind of flipped the script on them. And but that punter he was really good. But thankful for that bad snap.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's right. It's one of those things where, I mean, looking back at it, looking at the drive charts and all those things, I mean, it was just an uneasy feeling because, I mean, again, we talked about it before. I mean, hell, we went to Georgia in the freaking Ray Goff era and Jim Donnan and everything else. And then even with Rick, I mean, it's one of those things where little things go wrong in that game and they keep compounding on them. And so it's one of those things, it's like PTSD for that football game for me. But I mean, looking back at the drive charts and stuff, I mean, I in my mind, Lagaway was on his way to 350 yards passing and 200 yards rushing or whatever, just because it's what it felt like for whatever reason. But I mean, he really didn't. I mean, he only completed 2 passes or whatever.
206.
Yeah, he completed 2 passes.
It was interesting to me because when he was in there, they were trying to run, and he got injured, and the guy comes in from Yale, and they start passing the ball. So I think they knew what they had to do to win. I think they felt they could run against us, but Yeah, I thought the same thing, but when you look at the stats, they really didn't pass the ball much with Lagway, so it was interesting.
Yeah.
Boy, I sure was wrong last week. I thought they'd be gone by halftime. They were
Well, without the
winning by
interceptions, they
halftime.
would have been. Yeah, without
Yeah,
those
good thing we
interceptions, they
got
would
2
have been.
field goals in the first half.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean,
And
again,
I was telling them, I was like, just wait, don't jump yet. He's going to make some adjustments. It'll be fine. We got
There'll
the
be time later.
I know. I mean, again, and it is one of those things I truly do trust in the adjustments that we make. And then the other side of it was, I mean, kind of like Bernie said, I mean, that touchdown that they got off of the intercept. I mean, after the interception on that one play, I mean, it was Malachi trying to do too many things. I mean, he caught peeking in because they'd been running and he let that guy get behind him, but he still almost caught up to him. But I mean, but yeah, it's one of those outliers. And then knowing that you're getting Aguero and you're getting Dan Jackson back, and in the second half, you knew that those things were going to settle out, and they kind of, I mean, they did. And but yeah, it's just always an uneasy feeling going into that freaking football game for me. I got too many family members that are Florida fans and everything else too. That I mean, you just hear about it all the time, and like I said, that's the body of work that I've grown up with. So, I mean, listening to waiting since last Saturday, they talk about the fact when their kids were young and growing up. It's like, well, this is just the fate you're going to be doomed to as a Georgia fan because apparently we're never going to beat Florida again, or maybe have one time to. But I mean,
And
again,
trust us, therapy has not helped.
but I mean, again, for our first 4-game win streak since, I mean,
The 80s.
whenever. Yeah, I mean the 80s, and having
Seven
of
out of the last 8.
Yeah, 7 out of 8. So I mean, again, the tide has definitely turned with it. But I mean, again, there's still a lot of baggage, a lot of baggage carried around. But
Kirby should have had the whole team celebrate in the end zone after the first touchdown in the second half.
I called for it.
That would
I
have
did
been
this.
Speaking of which, what's all the social media hubbub about Beck's girlfriend? Is that an issue, or is it made up? Or
It's a way for Georgia fans to pile on him.
I mean, how would they know?
Well, they're all over Instagram
because she posted pictures, and I don't delve into that. I mean,
well, apparently she doesn't follow me, so that's why I don't know. That's weird.
She doesn't follow you? I mean, really?
She's like the only one that doesn't, probably. Awkward.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just that they're trying to find a reason, whether it's the Lambo or Range Rover or whatever it is he's driving in his private jets or the girlfriend. There's got to be some reason. So they're trying to figure out what's going on, because I mean, to have 11 turnovers in your last 4 games, 5 games, or whatever it is, when he had 6 all of last year with no double-digit interception games. I mean, but I mean, it's got to be, you got to look at a sporting cast as well. So I mean, I know Bernie's talked about this in his blog too, I believe, but I mean, he doesn't have the safety blankets that he had last year with McConkey and Bowers. And I mean, even when things were starting to go well with Etienne this year, and he's been suspended, or now he's got hurt, and then his other receivers that he was finally developing that rapport with. I mean, like you said, the end of last year was a rah-rah, and he's no longer with us. And then beginning this year, Colby Young looked like he was a standout receiver. But but again, I mean,
it's on Carson, and Carson knows it's on him, and he's got to step up and trust the receivers and take those shots. So yeah, I feel fine. You know, I think I'm a lot more laid back than I used to be after winning 2 national championships. But you get in the game, you just want to win, especially against Florida. But yeah, I want to see him do well, and I think now we know we have to trust Kirby, and Kirby made it evident. Let's just say I walked down right before halftime to get some more water, and could hear the Boo Birds and everybody talking about Carson. And I just felt like he needed another chance. Go back up, third quarter, he throws an interception. I don't have a defense at that point, right? But Kirby put him back out there. Boba put him back out there. So what are we supposed to do as fans? But trust that he's our best option, and I think that's where we are.
Who's number 2?
It was Stockton last year. I would think it'd still be him. He played against FSU in the bowl game. But Rashad is there. We got a freshman that everybody likes. So,
yeah, I mean, Rashada's got the starting experience too from back, was it Arizona State?
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, you'd think that potentially, I mean, yeah, just depending on what, like you said, what Bobo and Kirby think in terms of what he's actually been able to do at practice and everything else. But
yeah. Well, word is, someone at the tailgate, won't go into names, but is pretty good friends with one of the offensive coaches, and his comment was next year's quarterback is now on the roster, and I don't know, they like the freshman a lot, Plugici, and be surprised if he doesn't step up. But that's down the road. I was more worried Saturday about Florida, and this week is Ole Miss. So we got the win, almost covered. We'll get to that later.
so close, so
close. But the wins is what matters.
Yeah, but when we talked about Etienne going out with a rib injury, I mean, they said he could have potentially come back in. But what do you think about rolling with Frazier and Cash Jones?
I thought they both stepped up. I mean, Cash is going to step up, and that touchdown reception he made just showed total grit. And I thought Frazier, proved he can be the future third down back that we wanted. He wasn't in for passing protection before, too much before Saturday. But other than the taunting penalty, I think was just pretty. It wasn't funny in the moment, but when you look at the perspective from the sideline with was it Jared Wilson, who puts his hands on his knees and then takes the kid back to, he said, "You go take your medicine, son." Yeah. And then Kirby gets in his ear. That's what you want to see. You want to see a teammate say, "I was coming to celebrate with you, but now I can't." And you got us a penalty, and here's the coach, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, come over and see Kirby. But I mean, again, even there, right there next to him was Lawson Lucky. I mean, the look on his face, he's like,
"Yeah, oh my God,
no, you didn't do that. You didn't do that."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought that Frazier and Cash Jones both played pretty well. And then who was the other freshman? Was it Phillips?
Phillips. Yeah. 1 carry, 1 touchdown.
Yep. And so, I mean, seeing the way that all the other players reacted to him getting that touchdown, which, I mean, they talked about the fact that he's really well liked on the team. He's doing all the right things. Yeah. And I think he's played mostly special teams when he's been in before that. But then again, depending on how Etienne responds to treatment or how the rib's doing, I mean, he might be called in a little bit more action a little bit sooner too. So
could be. I mean, I think Etienne will play this weekend, but rib injury, you never know. You get stuck the right. I mean, you can protect it enough, but you get stuck the right way, you're coming out of there.
Yeah, that is not fun. So, receiving core, I mean, it seemed. I mean, the drops didn't really I don't really remember too many drops happening, but I mean, again, it's one of those where you're trying to figure out whether, I mean, there's a couple of instances where it seemed like Carson was looking at them because they ran the wrong routes or didn't go break the way he was expecting them to. So again, just hoping that whole thing, you thought it would have been taken care of in the bye week a little bit, but anyway.
Yeah, I think overall there's a little bit more on the same page, but I do remember you're right. There was one I thought was Carson's fault because he threw it behind Dom Lovett at the line of scrimmage. But when you go back and look at the tape, there's some kind of hand signal that Carson made for the snap directly at Dom. So, it wasn't horns down.
No, that was the other game.
That was the other game. So on the tape, I rewatched it. I could see maybe Carson had. We don't know. We're outside looking in, but overall, I thought the receivers did it. There were some balls a little bit behind, but I'm hopeful. I think it's coming around. We just have to give it more time. But the good news is our defense, I think, is ready to step up like they did Saturday and just hold them down.
Yeah. I was one of those things with the defense. I was just hoping for another Texas-like performance or whatever. But I mean, again, with Jackson and Aguero being out the first half, it was definitely too much to necessarily be hoping for. But it's again one of those things where if I think the more the team you're playing against gets your attention for what they've been doing or what they've done recently or whatever, it seems like that's when the Georgia defense rises up even more. So we'll talk about that Ole Miss game coming up in a few minutes. But
one more point about the clueless Georgia fans. If you are sitting next to one, let me tell you about the one behind us, because he was shocked that we did not play Dan Jackson Aguero in the first half. He was shocked that Graham Mertz was such a bad quarterback, even though Graham Mertz hasn't played the last 2 weeks and going to play the season.
He's done.
You talk about being a clueless Georgia fan, clueless college football fan. I mean, did you not see the Texas game and see the targeting penalties? I mean, we've been talking about them for 2 weeks. So if you're sitting next to one, just smile and wave.
Yep. So, but just be happy we got the win. I mean, we won by 14 points. It's like I heard some other people say, you would have given your left arm for a 14-point win against Florida back just 10 years ago, it seems. But so again, it's the fact that we're splitting hairs over that and complaining because our quarterback threw 3 interceptions and we still managed to win by 14 points. And
these are the best of times.
Yeah. Yep. So, but and again, it's one of those things. I sent y'all that thing that Dog Nation put out. The fact that the games when Carson's thrown multiple interceptions, we got a higher scoring average than when he doesn't throw the interceptions. So, which was interesting.
Crazy.
But, yeah. All right. So there were some other big games that happened this weekend. Quite a few of them I didn't see, but we'll talk about why that was a little bit later on too. But what other big games I guess Bernie, I don't know if y'all were watching games when y'all were tailgating, were you?
No, we got home just in time to see the second half of the South Carolina A&M game. So that one I saw, and then other than that, it's just highlights.
Yeah. But Cord, what other games drew your attention this past weekend
that you didn't have? I saw Arkansas.
Did you?
That was a little surprising.
That surprised me.
Yeah. That surprised me and my parlay. Damn it. Man. I thought, again.
Don't.
Yeah, Ole Miss stepped up in a big way, hanging a 60-burger plus on Arkansas.
They just made Arkansas look inept. They really do. Would they sack them like 10 times or 9 times?
It was quite a few.
That was ridiculous. And Jackson Dart got 515 yards offense.
And their receiver set a record too, right? 250 yards or something.
Yeah, and that receiver had only caught 2 touchdowns all year,
right?
And he lit them up for 5. And Ole Miss's number 1 receiver was still out. So that was something I didn't see coming. I thought it'd be close the way Arkansas played the week before, but oh man, they just got smoked.
Yeah, Sam Pittman and old Bobby Petrino apparently only can get up for like 1 or 2 games in a row. Then it's like, whoo, got to take a break.
And then Sam was not complaining, but I had heard it that day, and then I had heard it beginning of the season where, like I said, he's not complaining. He's very grateful for all the money that they get from Walmart and from Tyson, but they don't. So he calls his team the Blue Light Special Team with their NIL money because they don't have season ticket holders donating $100, for every seat, versus the Louis Vuitton O-line and D-line that the Ole Miss has. So that was
that sounds like Pittman.
Yeah.
Hey, did I see they lost their quarterback too? Didn't they lose their quarterback?
Where?
Talon, Arkansas's quarterback. Didn't he go out?
Well, he got knocked out?
I don't know. I couldn't see his name. It was on the ground the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Goodness. Yeah. So Ole Miss did well for sure in that game. The other, I guess, that noon kickoff with the Penn State versus Ohio State. It turned out to be a close game on paper, but I don't know. I thought kept hoping Penn State was finally going to find a way to break through and do something, but they couldn't manufacture an offensive touchdown. Can't put it in.
Didn't they have the chance to win at the end?
They had the ball inside I think the 5-yard line, 1st and goal, or maybe even the 2-yard line, 1st and goal.
That play they ran was nonsense. That was just crazy.
They ran 3 times right at the middle, and it's like, again, And then on fourth down, they try to do some kind of trickeration or some swing.
They should have tried it a fourth time. That probably would have worked.
Yeah, the fourth time it would have been the charm.
They'll never expect it.
Charm.
They'll never expect it.
But yeah, I mean, they had. I think there was 2 times Ohio State held them or at the goal line to win that game. So, but I mean, and then the selection committee or whatever the playoff committee's mind, I mean, they still think Ohio State overall is so much better than or Georgia. They ranking them ahead of Georgia for that. But even though it doesn't really matter since they're still got Oregon as the Big Ten conference champ in that. So, but yeah. So other big games.
Why would they do that?
I think they're just saying they're doing the rankings based on the way they see it now. But if it plays out the way they say it will, or Ohio State can't be second because Georgia would have to be there if they win their conference. So it's a little awkward.
The loss to the number 1 team, or by 1 point, they're saying is a better loss than Georgia losing to a now 2-loss Alabama team by a touchdown, even though we were down by 28 and came back and took the lead and whatever. But yeah, I mean, again, even the guy said they're splitting hairs. I didn't realize the head of the that committee was a Michigan man. So there might be some Big Ten bias going into all that, but anyway, there's still plenty of time to see about that.
I think that would help Georgia in the end. I mean, I think Georgia had to head to Ohio State. You know, as long as Beck's on and the defense shows up, man, that's an easy game.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing I was looking for out of last night was how many teams they put in from the SEC, and I thought it'd be 3, but they're starting with 4 at least. So Alabama squeaked in there, which probably gives Ole Miss some hope going into this weekend. If they can handle business this weekend, they've got a little bit easier schedule. So there's a lot of football left to be played.
Yeah, that's one of the things they talked about too. The fact that they actually ranked Missouri in the top 25. Where I mean, again, if Georgia ends up losing to Ole Miss or to Tennessee, that a 2-win or 2-loss Alabama might creep ahead of Georgia because they've got Georgia's other wins got one against Texas, but I mean the other one they got that win against Missouri, who they are still rating higher than Vanderbilt and things like that too. So. It's just, I mean, there's still plenty of time to go. And
do you think Alabama would leapfrog Georgia with their loss to Vandy?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think they should.
Even though the guy's like the pimp.
He's going to be on the sideline this weekend, right?
Yep, he's going to be on the sideline.
Yeah, I'm watching that game.
Oh man, you got to watch SEC shorts, baby. Yeah, he's like he's coming. He has him riding off. They pick him up.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, so if he's on the sideline, I'm gonna bet on him then.
Yeah, but I say, who's coming to? Who are they playing this weekend?
South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina. That's right. Whew.
We just beat A&M.
I know. Well, but again, South Carolina can't do it 2 weeks in a row is what they've proven this year so far. But anyway, so far, I mean, again, it's one of those where I mean, yeah, they should have beat LSU. If the referees didn't take that away from them. But, I mean, yeah, they've had the games that they've risen up and won, but then you have a loss. Like, how did you lose that game? But yeah, so it's interesting. So, all right. And we're back. Sorry for that slight delay, but we are back with you.
Commercial break. We had to pay the bills in order to keep this podcast free for the viewers.
Yes, that's what we're trying to do. So, But I guess one of the other big upsets was Clemson, which that kind of hurts Georgia in the grand scheme of things a little bit when they were not able to take care of Louisville at home. Even they got rolled in that game, and so
Clemsoning is back.
Yep, apparently it is a thing. So, but yeah, Kentucky tried their best against Tennessee, but couldn't hold up. I don't know. Not sure any other games of note that you want to talk about from this past weekend. Besides, Army stayed undefeated, so they still have their chances or their hopes alive.
Wasn't that a close game though?
The Army
Air Force.
I don't think so. I think they had their backup quarterback in, if I read correctly.
It was 20-3. It was 20-3.
You don't want to play Army.
I mean, it was 6-3 at halftime, but then Army scored a touchdown in third and fourth quarter. But I mean, it doesn't look like Air Force was able to do anything. So, but they still got to play Notre Dame coming up, don't they?
See, that's not fair. Notre Dame should give NIL money to Army for that game. Am I wrong? So.
Well, I mean, again, you say NIL against around Notre Dame, they probably start getting the shakes. Because that's the team that beat them. So, Northern Illinois, baby.
Yep.
Who lost again against other people. But, all right.
They start having Saluki flashbacks.
I know. Yeah. So, I mean, again, like I said, I was a little bit out of the second half of the games after the Georgia game because Cord and I decided to do a wee heavy and Scotch ale. And
don't blame me.
Man, when you started sneaking Imperial Stouts in on me in the end of it.
I was not sneaking. I was being generous, following your lead.
I mean, again, one of the beers we brew, we call Hurricane Kilty. At a later date we can go into why it's called the Hurricane. But anyway, we're talking about brewing that again, so I thought it was a good idea to try some Scotch ales or wee heavies. So I picked up the Monday night, and then now what I'm getting into. Old Chub by Oscar Blues. So I had those, and I told them about Founders. They're Dirty Bastard. I couldn't. I had it one place. I didn't have it the second place where I bought. So Cord was going to pick that up, and then he threw in some other selections.
Of course he did.
Well, I didn't want to get a 6-pack of just one flavor.
There's usually nothing wrong with that, but yeah. So
not when you found some good ones in the other flavors.
You did. So staying along with that, he did find the Dirty Bastard, which is their Scotch ale, which is 8.5%. But then
a lot of bastards in there.
There are
other than you two.
No, I mean that's what he just calls me.
But then the next bastard was the Backwoods Bastard, which was a bourbon barrel Scotch ale, which was fan-freaking-tastic. But it also weighed in at 11%. Whoo-wee. So that was number 4. Then he brought the Allagash Gatherwell Imperial Stout. Not quite as up to the standards of the others, but I mean, again, when you're following those others, it was a little bit hard. But then we came back down again with the Yeti Imperial Stout, a Great Divide, at a lowly 9.5%. So, I mean, again,
lightweight.
Well, we washed it all down with the jalapeno cheddar sausages from the farmer's market.
We did. Those were good, and of course, we did try Beaver Dog Brew's Novemberfest, since we brewed our Oktoberfest quite late, but that was quite tasty as well. So
that's good.
Yep, it was. I mean, it was good. The fact that it cleared out like it did this early without having all the conditioning and lagering time, and that Nova Lager yeast. I mean, again, sorry, we're getting off the rails, but anyway. So we talked about last week's games. So before we go into this week's games, I guess should we go ahead and talk about the locks of the week from last week, or do you want to do those after our predictions? What you say, Bern?
Whatever you say. I mean, we'll say locks of the week.
Do we pull a trifecta? Do we all win again?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Well, I was talking about that idiot behind me with all the comments. One comment he made was, I forget when, I think it was after the bad snap on the special team. He said, I've seen this Georgia team before. We're going to come back and cover. I was like, shut your fucking mouth. There's no way we're going to cover.
Georgia never covers.
We almost did, so I fell and back to 500, 5-5. Cord had Oregon minus 15.
You're in the basement.
Again. Cord got Oregon negative 15, so he improved to 8-1-1. And Nama's Indiana team, minus 6.5. That was easy for them Hoosiers, right, Nama?
Hoosiers.
So you're up to 6-4 on the season.
Well, that's respectable. You're a lot better than Stanford Steve.
Yeah, Stanford Steve hadn't been doing that well.
He must have been a JC transfer or something.
Yep. And so, do we want to go into our picks then?
Sure.
But y'all go
Ford, you
first.
go first.
Yeah, about to say.
Go first.
Who's going first?
You are, man. You're the leader
Me?
of the clubhouse.
All right. You guys got the bumper music?
But
No,
say that's your job, man. You've been the one rolling with that thing.
Well, that's my job.
It is.
All right. You ready?
Uh-oh. You're going with Georgia?
No, not so fast.
Oh, Jesus.
Penn State.
Penn
The
State.
most boring uniform in the history of the world. Penn State over Washington, minus 13.5.
Penn State. Okay, so that's Cord. You said how much? 15.5?
Oh, 13.5.
Yeah, 13.5.
Yeah, Washington sucks. And you know what? It serves them right for leaving the Pac-12.
Do you know where you're going to go, Bernie?
I think I do. It's just there's not a lot of lines that I like. I'm increasingly like Georgia, but I'm not going to pick them because I jinx them.
They don't cover.
So I'm gonna. Man, LSU at night is not a good place for Alabama. I'm gonna go. I feel confident in this pick. I'm gonna go with South Carolina minus 3.5 at Vandy.
Dude.
Yep. All right.
Oh, man. I don't know, man.
Okay, we're warning you.
I'd say warn you, Beamer can't do it multiple times in a row. And I mean, the SEC Shorts King's gonna be there.
He ain't playing though. And if he does play, it's probably better. And I think Vandy's a little beat up, to be honest. The times I've seen them, they're a little beat up. South Carolina, I mean, they haven't consistently put it together week to week, but that's a good defense. I think they're going to give probably some fits there. So we'll see. But that's what I got. What do I know? I'm in the basement.
Hey, at least you're protected from tornadoes.
Thanks for the encouragement.
Nice. Well, I am traveling over to the University of Missouri. University of Missouri again this weekend.
That's right.
So, and I'm going to be there under the lights watching the Mizzou Tigers take on the Oklahoma Sooners. And for whatever reason, I mean, probably because
loser gets kicked out of the SEC.
I mean, Oklahoma's probably that.
Oklahoma's already asked to get out of the SEC.
They want to go back. They want Big 12 to take them back. But I think I'm going to roll with Missouri because they are going to finally figure out a way to put it together. Not that putting it together with a 2.5-point spread against the Oklahoma team should be that much of a stretch. But I'm gonna believe they can do it.
All right, good job, Homer.
Right, so I had Missouri -1. Is that what you got?
I got
old.
I guess the one I'm looking at right now says -2.5.
2.5.
So, hold on, let me refresh the screen.
Oh, I got Missouri -15.
You do not.
Quick, take it.
I got not -15. Not if they were +15, I'd take it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Mizzou and gonna fly out there on Friday, hang out with Katie. It's Father's weekend for her sorority. So looking forward to that. Luckily Christine's not gonna be with me because the hotel rooms that I've had to book, she would not stay in those. Let's just say.
Fancy?
They're fancy, man. Again, like I said, all I need to do is have a place to sleep. If I got a bed to sleep in, I'll be fine. So first night I'm staying in Jefferson City at an Econo Lodge, and then
plus you bring your own rats with you.
Then moving to the Red Roof Inn in Columbia, which I mean, again, I got both these rooms for under $100 a night. So I mean, again, It's got to be high-end accommodations. So
there you go. Only the best. High roller.
Only the best. But I mean, again, I'm actually flying in, so I mean, I didn't drive. I'm not doing that drive by myself. Whew, that's a lot.
I don't blame you.
All right, I'm getting a live chat for one listener, and they're saying We got to keep it on 30 minutes because there was a lot of chafing last week at the Triple J, Jim.
Okay.
Beat it up.
The Triple J, Jim.
All right. Looking ahead to this weekend, then.
You ever heard of Jimmy John's Gym?
Jimmy John's. Nice.
There's a lot to cover this week.
Okay, go ahead.
There is a lot to cover, or there's
All
not
right,
a
I'm
lot?
going to hit 1.5. Let's go.
There's a lot to cover this week, so we're getting there. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this week there's only two games where ranked teams face off against each other. And
Beavers and San Jose State. Who's the other one?
That would not be it.
Oh.
that would not be it. Although, again,
they're
Beavers,
both in SEC.
The Beavers, they're
in the back too.
They're favored, aren't they? And they're going to be on the CW against San Jose
they're
State.
favored.
CW.
You know what? San Jose State beat Nevada. We lost to Nevada. Oregon State beat Colorado State. They lost to Colorado State. Beavers are favored by 3, but our running game's hurt and our defense is hurt. So I'm not seeing it. I hope they win, but I'm not seeing it. But I'll watch it. All right, next.
Next.
The other ranked game besides Georgia and Ole Miss is the Alabama LSU game. So I mean, yeah, again, it's 2 SEC games are the ones that'll be the ranked versus ranked this week. But yeah, for the Georgia against Ole Miss, I mean, again, they could put up a whole bunch of points, but it seems like whenever Kiffin gets in a really big game, it just does not go very well. So I'm hoping that trend is going to continue. But
this isn't a big game for him. What are you talking about?
This is
he's never never won a big game.
No.
You want my Lane Kiffin analytics?
Yes, go for it.
All right, keys to the game. Georgia, Beck has to be on. He can't let Ole Miss get ahead by 2 or 3 scores in the first half like normal. He doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. The defense has to put pressure on Jackson Dart. If they can do that, they can disrupt his passing game, and that's going to cause a lot of issues for Ole Miss. And then Georgia needs a running game, especially if NTN is hurt or not healthy. Ole Miss, their big D line's got to get sacks against Georgia. They've got 41 sacks so far this year. They're averaging about 5 per game. Trey Harris listed as active this week. He's their number 1 receiver. He was hurt overtime against LSU, didn't play against Oklahoma, and sat out against Arkansas. And then if you give Jackson Dart time, he's got a great ability to float these balls right into space and get some deep threat touchdowns. He had 515 against Arkansas. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys both picked Arkansas last week +7.
I did in my thing. I don't know that Bernie did anywhere.
Jordan Watkins, number 1. He's a receiver. He got the 5 TDs last week we talked about. If Ole Miss can beat UGA at home, they have a straight shot to playoffs. Their strength of schedule is 18, but Georgia's is number 1. They need to limit the defensive stupid penalties that keeps Georgia's offense off the field. And that's all I got.
All right. Counterpoint. So
Yes.
The injury report just dropped. Both Trey Harris and Jordan Watkins listed doubtful, so they'll probably play some. Other than that, we'll play press coverage. That throws Jackson Dart off. They don't have a running game. We can make them one-dimensional early, and I think we have the secondary to keep up with them, and they haven't played a defense like ours. So I disagree with his first point. Carson Beck doesn't have to be on. He does have to have a good game. I don't think he has a great game, but I do agree we have to have a running game because we got to keep that offense off the field and churn some clock.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's all that. I mean, we just need our defense to show up against a team. Like Texas was a team that puts up numbers on other teams like Ole Miss does for the most part. And so, again, it's one of those where I think we might see some of the more exotic defensive fronts that we used against Texas or that kind of thing where pressure is going to be coming from places that Jackson Dart never is going to believe it's coming. And, I mean, again, as good as like Texas is at sacking the quarterback, I mean, they could not get to Carson Beck to save their lives. Again, I am just hoping that the defense is going to turn themselves up like they did against that Texas game because again, I think we talked about before, if once a team gets Georgia's attention and you put 60 points on an SEC team, you're going to get our attention. That seems to be when Georgia plays their best. So, again, I'm hopeful they're going to do it. I mean, I think it's going to be – I don't know if it's going to be the same kind of experience that Kiffin and Ole Miss ran into last year when they got actually boat raced.
Probably not.
But
probably not.
You never know. You never know. Because,
No.
I mean, again, last year when we're Ladd and Bowers at full strength in that game, I mean, anyway. But
hey, well, maybe Glenn Schumann's wife will have another baby this week. That worked against Texas. Yeah.
that did. So maybe
that's a quick turnaround from what I'm told.
Bring Muschamp in to give a few words of wisdom. But
yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I'm hopeful.
Either way, I think it's going to be
a good weekend.
A good weekend. Again, I've talked to Katie. That's the other part of me going there. And for the night game, I've got to be somewhere that I can be able to, at a tailgate that's got a TV so I can watch this freaking game.
We'll just text you.
Yeah, I know. I'll appreciate that, but I'll be losing my freaking mind. While I'm checking into the Red Roof Inn, I might just take a nap and stay there for a little while. Because the kickoff.
Yeah, Red Roof only has free HBO and the CW, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all he needs.
They got ABC. No, I don't need. I don't know. I'm not watching the CW. I don't need the CW. So I need to be able to watch the Georgia Ole Miss game at 3:30. So, but anyway, all righty. Well, I think that should about wrap it up for this week's edition. So,
wait.
Oh,
Fourth and Three Dudes is going on the road next year for our show.
We are
October 4th in Boone, North Carolina. We already got it set up. Oregon State versus Appalachian State. Bernie, you been there? No.
Yes.
You have?
I've been to Boone. Not for a game, though.
Oh, not for a game. Okay.
You've been where?
All right, so we're going to send the podcast jet down to St. Mary's to pick you up. You can land in Charlotte. Nam and I will pick you up in the Ole Miss minivan, and we'll hike up the rough ridge. And
the same Ole Miss minivan from 2011.
Yeah, I found it over at the Pull Aparts in Norcross.
you could hope, man. That the swagger wagon, that was an incredible trip.
It still works. And then UJ versus Florida, November 1st. We'll be at a biker dive bar near Jacksonville with the full setup. Doing free tats for every mullet that walks in.
So, of all the questions I have from that last 2 minutes, why Boone?
Because Oregon State's going to be playing here, and that's the closest it'll be to us.
Yes.
Okay, I missed that part. Sorry.
Besides the college football playoffs in Atlanta.
He did not tell you that part, but yeah, that is another thing that happened this past weekend, didn't it, Court?
Yes.
See, again, the wee heavies and the Imperial Stouts were clouding my mind. It's like, wait a minute. What do you mean, Boone? Oh, I remember now.
This sounds familiar.
But yes, I forgot. He did look at that, and I told him where Boone, North Carolina was, or App State was, and it's like,
we looked it up. Already got rooms.
And he already booked the rooms. He's already booked the rooms.
Of course he has.
We're in. All right.
We have to bring a T1 line or something, I think.
Oh, okay. You lost me with that one. So, but
for the show.
Oh, we can just record with a video camera, man. We'll all be good.
No, we got to go live. It's got to be live.
We can do that. Hey,
all right.
Hopefully the interwebs will be back up and running in Western North Carolina.
We're barely ready for recording right now. So,
all right. I hope we're not over 30 minutes because we're gonna get upset.
I'll try to trim it down. So, but anyway. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and finish my old chub in just a minute, but thank you all for hanging around. If you stayed around this long, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or whatever your favorite podcasting platform is. So anyway, have a good time this weekend wherever you are, whether it's in Columbia, Athens, St. Mary's, Atlanta, or whatever. So go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Lions.